In 1916, while the world was distracted by war, two men sat down at a table and quietly decided the future of the Middle East. No Arabs were present, no local leaders were consulted, no borders existed yet. But when that meeting ended, lines had been drawn, lines that would ignite conflicts still burning today. This is the story of one agreement that shaped the Middle East forever. At the height of World War I, the Ottoman Empire, which had ruled much of the Middle East for centuries, was collapsing. Britain and France saw opportunity. They believed victory was inevitable, and the question was no longer if the empire would fall, but who would control what came next. Publicly, Britain was making promises to Arab leaders. They spoke of independence. They encouraged Arab revolts against Ottoman rule. But privately, something very different was happening. In secret, British diplomat Mark Sykes and French official François-Georges Picot met to carve up the Middle East between their empires. They did not travel to the region. They did not study its cultures. They did not understand its tribal, religious, or ethnic realities. Instead, they used maps. Straight lines were drawn across deserts, mountains, and ancient communities, not based on history or identity, but on imperial convenience. The people living there had no idea. When the war ended and the agreement became public, the sense of betrayal was immediate. Arab leaders realized they had fought for freedom, only to be handed new rulers. Colonial administrators arrived, borders hardened, and artificial states were created overnight. Communities that had coexisted for centuries were forced into new political units. Rival groups were suddenly expected to function as nations. Tensions simmered beneath the surface. Those tensions never disappeared. Civil wars, coups, sectarian violence, endless disputes over borders and legitimacy. Many of today's Middle Eastern conflicts trace their roots back to that single agreement, not because the people were incapable of peace, but because peace was never the goal. The goal was control. The men who drew those lines returned home. Their empires eventually faded, but the borders they created remain. And over a century later, the Middle East is still living with the consequences of one meeting that was never meant to be remembered, but can never be forgotten.